Wesley Wales Anderson. Wesley Wales Anderson was born on May 1st, 1969 in Houston, Texas. He grew up with his two brothers, Eric and Mel, but their parents divorced when he was only 8. He then enrolled at college at the University of Austin in Texas, where he would meet a longtime friend and co-star. His name is Owen Wilson. Wes and Owen Wilson eventually became roommates, and they worked on the script for a full-length movie they called Bottle Rocket. Several films later, after that film's success, he and Owen Wilson also created another movie. Its name was The Fantastic Fox. They made this movie in 2009. This film received an Oscar nods for Anderson's filmography. After making one other film, Wes made another movie. Its name is The Grand Budapest Hotel. He made this one in 2014. This one would go on to win a Golden Globe for the best motion picture of any musical or comedy. Also around the time that the Life's Aquatic release, Life Aquatic's release, many critics began noting the importance of father figures in Anderson's movies. In response, Anderson mused to the New York Magazine that he finally realized it was just opposite of what he grew up with. And for him, there's nothing exotic about it. He says that he's drawn to those father figure characters that are larger than life people. And I've sought out mentors who are like that, so I can relate them, but they're not my father. All of Wes Anderson's movies are extremely linear and use a color pattern. Generally, during very tense scenes, he does a little bit of comedy to ease the mood. When talking about death as such. He also enjoys using 2 different languages in most of his films, being Latin and French, such as Magi est meus ventus magister. There is always a label on something that he has in his movies, such as the grill. In his movies, there's always some sort of apology or realization of character that the main character has. Generally is triggered by the father character or maybe even his best friend. In his movies, he generally has at least one person wearing something nice, such as a tuxedo or a blazer and a tie. There's usually an older, refined character who has a young secretary type best friend or such that helps him along the journey. The sidekick in most of his movies forgets an important prompt, such as in Fantastic Mr. Fox, the blueberries, or in Grand Budapest Hotel, he forgot to get the safe house. The main character is constantly being chased by some kind of authority, like the principal, the police, or people wanting to get their money from their grandmother's will. Finally, in his movies, he always has a father figure or a best friend flirting with the main character's presumed girl or girl of interest. In the 1930s, the Grand Budapest Hotel is a popular European ski resort, presided over by concierge Gustav H. Ralph. Gustav H. Zero, a junior lobby boy, becomes Gustave's friend and protege. Gustave prides himself on providing first-class service to the hotel's guests, including satisfying the sexual needs of many elderly women who stayed there. When one of Gustave's lovers dies mysteriously, Gustave finds himself the recipient of the priceless painting and the chief suspect in her murder.
After 12 years of bucolic bliss, Mr. Fox breaks a promise to his wife and raids the farms of their human neighbors, Old Bogus, Bunce, and Bean. Giving to his animal instincts endangers not only his marriage but also the lives of his family and their animal friends. When the farmers force Mr. Fox and company deep underground, he has to resort to his natural craftiness to rise above the opposition.
Outfitted in shades of pink and purple and situated atop a hill, the hotel is grandiose and picturesque. It also happens to be 9 feet tall. For wide shots of the hotel, the director Wes Anderson and his team decided to use a handmade miniature model. The color scheme in this movie is purple and pink. The movie is very unique in the way that it ties unimportant characters in the beginning to very important scenes at the end, such as Zero's girlfriend and wife. The movie itself was published, made off of a book. Roald Dahl's Fantastic Mr. Fox. He was the first book writer, producer, and director Anderson owned. His mother, Texas Ann Burgers, bought it for him at the St. Francis Cook Fair in Austin, Texas, when he was 7 years old. Anderson had kept the same copy on his bookshelf ever since.
The color scheme for this movie is orange and yellow. The movie is unique in the way that it shows the consequences to selfish actions and being sorry for getting caught doing an action and not being sorry for doing the action itself.
There is a book called Accidentally Wes Anderson. This book was made in the likeness of Wes Anderson and his style of filming, which is why all the pictures in the book are extremely symmetrical. It's a visual adventure of Wes Anderson's proportions, authorized by the legendary filmmaker himself. Stunning photos of real-life places that seem plucked from the just-so world of his films, presented with fascinating human stories behind each facade.